All right. So, good evening, people. So, look, I just wanted to come on here and kind of give some, just talk to you guys a little bit. I do a lot of posts about credit, about, well, not necessarily about credit, but about funding and how you need to have yourself structured properly to get capital, to get wealth. And I just want to kind of, maybe break some of that stuff down into a little bit more simpler terms. When I say structure, so what am I talking about? I'm talking about your LLC, right? How is it structured? So when you start your LLC, or even for people who've already had an LLC, you want to make sure it's structured properly. And this is how you do it. First thing you want to do before you go set up the LLC, you want to call the Secretary of State wherever you live, or go to that Secretary of State website, and you want to put the name that you want your company to be. You want to put it in there to see if it's available. So, what are some examples of a name? Okay, well, let's say your name is Donald Brown. So you want to put something like Donald Brown Enterprises, or you want to say something like Donald Brown Solutions. You want to keep it very, very generic, very, very basic, because you're not trying to put yourself in a box, so to speak. Okay. Now, see if that name's available. It's available. Good. You still don't want to go file your LLC yet. Why? Because now you need to go and set up your business address. Now, if you have a brick and mortar place that has an address, then use that. Okay. But you do not want to use your home address or a PO box. Right. You want to use a bona fide business address. You can go to Regis.com, where they have virtual addresses, but those addresses show up on the white pages, and it's like an actual building, right? But you're using it as your virtual address. Or you can go to opus.com. They do the same thing, right? Once you have your address, great. Now you want to go and get your business phone number. And you don't want to use your cell phone number. You want to use like an actual number, like an 800 number. Now I use Call 8, KALL 8 for mine, but it's an 800 number. And then you want to go and get your business email address. So let's say you have Donald Brown Enterprises, right? So your email address should be info or success at donaldbrown.com or donaldbrownenterprises.com. Now, the way you get that is you're going to go you can go to GoDaddy, or you can go to where I use, which is Google Workspace. Okay. You get your real email that ends in .com or .co or whatever the case may be, or net. You don't want to use donaldbrown@gmail.com. No, they want to be info at donaldbrownenterprises.com. Now you have all that information set up. So now you have a name, an address, a phone number to put on the application at your Secretary of State. So now when you now you can go and do your Secretary of State LLC formation, because you want to keep your business and your personal separated. By doing that, you actually keep your personal out of it. All right. The next thing you want to do is you want to make sure, actually, before you do that, you want to also get a registered agent. I'm in Louisiana, so it's Louisiana registered agents is who I use. Why you want to get a registered agent? Well, you want to have your registered agent in place before you do your LLC, because that's going to be your go-between you and the state. Any documents that the state wants to get to you, by having a registered agent, they're going to be the go-between. They're going to send that information to your registered agent. Your registered agent will then upload it into the system for you to get, so you can view it. So it's kind of like your middleman. It's kind of like your bodyguard, so to speak, for layman's terms. And once you have your registered agent, now you go to the state and you go ahead and you fill out your LLC. Now, when you're filling out your LLC on the Secretary of State website, they're going to come to a point where it's going to ask you for a code. Like, what is your business under? Well, we don't want our business to be under a high risk industry. High risk industry codes are adult entertainment, credit repair, funding. These are all high risk industries. You don't want to be in logistics, the transportation, the trucking companies, right? High risk. You want to be under a Nexus code that is low risk. Low risk industries are like education, consulting, management, marketing, e-commerce. Okay. Those are the ones you want to pick. Now, the reason why is that when you go to get business funding or go to get your bank account, they're going to look up that code. When you give them your information about your LLC, they're going to look that up. And if you're in a high risk industry, it's either going to keep you from getting funding or you're going to get very low funding opportunities. So you want to keep your options open. That's why the name was kind of generic. You want to make sure your options stay open. So there's a little bit of tip there, and we'll come back and give a little bit more. But that's just how you set up your business properly with your LLC and be ready. One more thing before I go, I apologize. Once you get that, then you're gonna go to the IRS.gov and you're gonna get an EIN number, which is free. Now you have your EIN, and then you're gonna go to Dun and Bradstreet, D as in David, N as in Nancy, Bradstreet as in B as in boy, .com, and apply for your free DUNS number. Your DUNS number is what you're going to be using to build your business credit. Your EIN is your social security number, so to speak, for your business. These are the things that the banks and lenders are going to look for when you go and apply for funding and get your business bank account. So those are the tips. Hope that helps. I'll see you next time.